Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the latest tropical forecast from Florida Man Does Weather. Tonight, we're going to talk to you about some unusual happenings out in the Eastern Atlantic. This is mid-October, pushing into the late part of the season, where normally you're talking about the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico. Instead, we're talking about the east coast of Africa. Take it away, Caleb.
All right. So just south of the Azores is your incredibly late season African easterly wave. And we've actually got another one buried in there that's going to exit the coast in a couple days as well. But the main focus is this one. So we've got this guy. It's looking pretty big and broad. And if you're looking for development later, that's kind of what you want. You don't really want any super focused areas of thunderstorms because that'll increase the chances for an early developing system, which will in turn turn north. Now, unfortunately, this one does look like it's going to make its way all the way across the Atlantic in October, which insanely rare. Like that's stupid rare. It's even hard to quantify how rare that is, but you really don't see that. And then even that little bloom of thunderstorms down over by 45 west and 20 degrees north, that's Lorenzo. So Lorenzo is doing this little motion right now, and it's getting underneath a steering ridge. So the ridge is just kind of sandwiched between those two areas of convection. And as you can tell by Lorenzo's horrid appearance, it is doing some dirty work and it's getting pretty strong. It's got some substance going with it. That's part of the reason why Lorenzo is struggling so bad and is actually going to dissipate fairly soon, possibly even sooner than forecast, with the amount of degradation that's occurred today. But with that ridge coming in so strong, pull up those steering maps. As long as this wave continues to remain broad and weak, and I know it's not really getting caught all the way across the Atlantic, but you can see that ridge already present. You've already got pretty strong westerly motion within that ridge and within that wave. And that ridge is expected to expand westward and kind of shift with this wave and help push it all the way to, at minimum, the Leeward Islands. Where it goes after that, there are still a little bit of questions on that, but really every single model from the Euro ensembles, the GFS ensembles, Google DeepMind, the Euro AI, the Icon ensembles, if I had access to it, I'm pretty sure the UK Met ensembles would show that making it all the way to the leadwards as well. But if I don't pay for it, I don't get to see outside the US, unfortunately.
Yep.
But yeah, it's like some of the strongest model agreement all year, which is concerning because of where they're agreeing. They're mainly agreeing on it, this either forming in the leewards and making its way west into the Western Caribbean, or the southern node keeps going, kind of clips that northern part of South America, and then it just kind of jump starts something in the Caribbean. Like it's a very broad, drawn out piece of energy. So some of that would carry over if it were to clip the northern part of South America. Take it away, Josh.
So something I wanted to point out too, because some folks may be like, well, look, if you look at the steering currents, they're like due north and then to the northeast right here, and your wave is coming into the scene. Will it not get caught up and follow Lorenzo out the scene? Well, not exactly, and here's why. Think about what happens if you're walking on the side of the road and a car goes past. You get that rush of wind that fills in behind it, right? It's a dramatically oversimplified concept trying to associate that in
I actually like that. That makes a lot
meteorological
of sense,
terms.
actually.
But as Lorenzo pulls out, it's creating a wake in its trail. And what that high pressure ridge is going to do is it's going to rush in to fill that void as Lorenzo pulls out. So that northward steering current is going to actually end up getting out of there as Lorenzo dissipates and blasts off to the northeast, getting yanked by that steering ridge. It's actually paving the way for our wave to keep going west. That's why usually the second storm, when you have a train of storms coming in off of Africa, it's usually the second storm that goes further west because that ridge tends to rush in behind the first storm and just bridge that gap. That's what we're looking at here. Lorenzo is getting pulled out of there. That ridge is going to build in, kind of form a wall, and our wave, probably future Melissa, is going to keep going west. If you look at your GFS model, this is the ensemble for the GFS, the GEFS. So this is your 18Z. Now, granted, your 18Z doesn't get any new data put into it, but this is your ensemble runs, as you can see right here, at right about where the mouse cursor is. That's where it's kind of picking up on that low right now. Lorenzo is up off scene here. Now, we're not going to go all the way to the end because, the quality of the run degrades as it goes. But we're going to take this out to about 240 just to give you an idea of the first 10 days, the kind of thinking. So as you can see, the GFS picks up on our low pressure system staying weak as it walks across. As you can see, Lorenzo gets pulled out of there. And look at how that high pressure ridge fills in rapidly and forms a wall, keeping our wave pushing to the west. And nothing really happens as it keeps pushing west. You almost can't see it until it starts making its appearance at about an hour 108. Now it's starting to get going. Maybe it's a weak tropical depression at that point. But that ridge is still strong and is still pushing it to the west. And by hour 138, the ensemble agreement is pretty tight. It's low coming in the Caribbean, almost scraping South America even. A very, very low runner. Um, and then right about there, this is hour 180. This is kind of where the consensus starts kind of split. You've got a few members that sense it getting picked up by this weakness right here, but only 4 or 5 of them get caught on that. The ones that deepen it rapidly pull it north. But your other ones, and this is at hour 204, continue
And
pushing it as a
that's
weak
still a
system.
Puerto Rico strike, by the way. That
Yeah,
early deepening is directly
yeah.
into Puerto Rico. So
So
once this
the
enters the Caribbean, it's something's getting hit.
yeah, so your rapidly deepening system is going to be felt by systems further to its north. So if the storm stays weak, as you can see with these ensemble members, as the storm stays weak, if the storm stays weak, it's going to continue trending to the west. If the storm rapidly deepens, it will get caught in this primary weakness here and get pulled to the north. That's the thinking right now. Lots can and will change. This is our 216. Those earlier ensemble members are still following that weakness, but as you can notice, the rest of the ensemble members are starting to get caught in that steering vacuum in the south or in the southwest Caribbean. That's when things really start getting interesting. You're at about hour 228. Those earlier ensembles are following that primary uh, weakness, following that mid latitude system off to the north, riding the ridge. The other ones that make it all the way to the vacuum, the steering vacuum of the Western Caribbean, start bombing out. Now, I'm going to be very specific and stop right here at 240 because I don't want to start getting into the doom casting that's beyond that. Some people wouldn't feel comfortable enough going to 240, but considering the consistency of the models over the last 4 days and the fact that they're picking up on a wave that currently exists, not a what if wave, I will give 240 a little more credibility than we normally would. As you can see, big player, big time player in the Western Caribbean, big storm. So there's a lot of uncertainties. There's certainly opportunity it could deepen rapidly in the Eastern Caribbean and shoot the gap and hit Puerto Rico and get on out of here, not diminishing any effects to Puerto Rico when I say that. But the majority of the model runs or the ensembles for the GFS are suggesting that um, the bulk of this pushes west in either one of two things. Like Kaleb was saying, it hits the CAG and spins up as a CAG influenced storm that rapidly deepens, or the wave itself holds itself, and once it hits those 31 Celsius waters in the southwestern Caribbean, just goes straight nuke mode. So we don't have the other model runs; they're still coming in. So obviously we're stuck showing you the GEFS, but this is just a heads up video we wanted to show you for now. Keep your eye closely over the next 5-6 days. Thankfully, we still have a lot of time. Um, Lots could happen. But just keep an eye over the next 5-6 days. We'll be keeping you guys posted with shorts and videos and minute forecasts over the next week. As this situation develops, we will also be putting together a forecast video. Kaleb, any final thoughts?
Um, Interesting little fact about Melissa. So it's actually a replacement name for Hurricane Michelle. That was retired after 2001, where Hurricane Michelle ended up hitting Cuba late October, early November as a Category 4. It was the fifth costliest storm in Cuba's history. And I believe it led to the deaths of about 48 people. Very damaging Category 4 hurricane. Just an interesting parallel. Melissa's entering possibly the same territory that Michelle was at the same time all these years later. Just a little bit of a weird thing right there.
Most definitely. And with that, you guys have a great evening. Like I said, we'll keep you guys posted with updates on this channel and on our Facebook page. So just keep an eye out. And if something happens that Puerto Rico or the mainland needs to know, we will be on it and we will keep you folks informed. Have a great evening. And with that, Florida Man is out.